The seed you plant each day, ladies and gentlemen. Lean in for a moment, because I want to begin with a question that may shake the very foundation of how you see your life. What if your future is not waiting for you someday, but being shaped right now, quietly, silently, inside the habits you repeat every single day? I learned this truth not from a book, not from a seminar, not from some moment of luck or achievement. I learned it one evening, many years ago, sitting in a small, dimly lit room across from a man everyone had given up on, except himself. His name was Arman. Once full of dreams, once full of fire. His life had fallen apart, lost his job, lost his marriage, lost his direction. And when I met him, he told me with a trembling voice, "Sir, I feel like my life is slipping through my fingers." But after a long silence, he said something else. Something that changed my understanding of human transformation forever. He whispered, "But if my life could fall apart because of my habits, maybe it can be rebuilt by my habits too." And that was it. No lightning, no miracle moment, just a quiet realization your habits are working every day, either building your future or burying it. And if you take nothing else from this speech, take this: you do not decide your future, you decide your habits, and your habits decide your future. Today, I want to take you on a journey, not of motivation alone, but of awakening, a journey of 7 profound shifts, 7 inner chapters, each one revealing a powerful truth about how your daily habits shape your destiny, not as a lecture, not as a list, but as a flowing story of human potential. So let us begin. The habit of seeing yourself differently. There comes a moment in every person's life when the mirror stops being a piece of glass and starts becoming a doorway. A doorway to the truth you have avoided, the truth you have forgotten, or the truth you have never fully seen. And that truth is this: the life you are living right now is a reflection of the identity you have accepted. Not the identity you were born with, not the identity someone handed you, not the identity life tried to push on you, but the identity you quietly agreed to live by. Before any habit can change, before any dream can rise, before any breakthrough can unfold, something far deeper must shift: the way you see yourself. Most people never realize this. They try to fix their habits without fixing their self-image. They try to adopt discipline without adopting a new identity. They try to change their actions while still believing the same old story about who they are. And this is why change becomes frustrating. This is why people start with motivation but end with exhaustion. This is why they repeat the same cycles again and again. Not because they lack ability, but because they are loyal to a version of themselves they have outgrown. Let me tell you something. Your habits are nothing more than the echo of your identity. If you believe you are weak, you will practice weak habits. If you believe you are unlucky, you will take actions rooted in fear. If you believe you are not worthy, you will sabotage the opportunities that come. But when you believe you are capable, when you believe you are deserving, when you believe you are becoming someone powerful, your habits rise to match that belief. That is why this first step is not about routines, schedules, or discipline. It is about rewriting the story you tell yourself about who you are. You see, people often think change starts with action, but transformation begins with permission. Permission to become someone new. And no one can give you that permission but you. Not your parents, not your society, not your past, not your circumstances. Only you. You must look at the mirror and declare, "I am no longer the person who settles. I am no longer the person who breaks my own promises. I am no longer the person who avoids the life waiting for me." That declaration is the first true habit, the habit of seeing yourself with new eyes. Now, identity does not shift instantly. It shifts gradually, in small, private victories that no one applauds. Your life changes the moment you keep a promise to yourself. Maybe you wake up on time just once. Maybe you drink water instead of reaching for something harmful. Maybe you read for 10 minutes instead of scrolling. Maybe you say no to something that drains you. These actions may seem small, but each one is a vote for a new identity, and every vote counts. This is how the transformation of Arman began. He didn't start with giant actions or massive discipline. He didn't force himself into a strict regimen. He didn't try to overhaul his entire life in a week. He simply chose one identity shift. I am no longer the man who avoids responsibility. That small shift became the foundation for every habit he built afterward. He started writing down 3 responsibilities he needed to handle each day. Some days he did all 3. Some days he managed 1. Some days he fell short. But every day, he cast another vote for the identity he wanted. And slowly, that identity began to crystallize. When you see yourself differently, you behave differently. When you treat yourself like a person worthy of growth, you protect your time. When you see yourself as someone capable, you stop waiting for motivation and start relying on commitment. When you see yourself as someone destined for more, you stop shrinking to fit the life you've outgrown. The greatest transformations happen not when circumstances change, but when self-perception shifts. And let me tell you something even more important to you. You are allowed to outgrow the old you. You are allowed to rise above your past. You are allowed to become someone extraordinary. You are allowed to rewrite the script of your life. You are allowed to dream in a way you have never dreamed before. And you are allowed to build habits that reflect your highest potential, not your deepest fears. Your new life will cost you your old identity. But that is a price worth paying, because once you begin to see yourself differently, once you begin to act according to the person you wish to become, your habits will no longer be forced. They will become natural. Your discipline will no longer feel like punishment. It will feel like alignment. And your life will no longer feel accidental. It will feel intentional. So the first step, the most powerful step, the foundation of all transformation is simple. See yourself as the person your future requires you to be. When you upgrade your identity, your habits will rise to meet your destiny. The habit of showing up when you don't feel like it. There is a truth about life that every dreamer eventually faces. The path to your future is not paved with motivation. Motivation is beautiful, yes. It is inspiring, yes. It is powerful, yes. But it is also unreliable. It rises and falls like the weather. It comes when life feels exciting and disappears when life feels heavy. It whispers in your ear when the journey is new. But it goes silent the moment the work becomes ordinary. That is why anyone who relies solely on motivation to build their future will never reach the place destiny is calling them to. This is where the second habit steps in. The habit of showing up when you don't feel like it. It is one of the most uncomfortable habits to build, yet one of the most liberating. Because the truth is simple. You will not feel like doing the right thing every day. You will not feel like being disciplined every morning. You will not feel like working on your dream every evening. You will not feel like being consistent every time life knocks the wind out of you. Feelings are unstable, but habits built on commitment, those are unshakable. People misunderstand discipline. They think discipline means never struggling, never hesitating, never feeling resistance. But discipline is not the absence of resistance. It is the decision to move forward despite resistance. It is waking up tired and still choosing to honor your responsibilities. It is feeling discouraged and still doing the work. It is being stressed, overwhelmed, uncertain, or uninspired, and still taking the next step. The real difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is very rarely talent. It is the willingness to show up even when everything inside them says, "Not today." Let me share something with you. Your future self is formed on your weakest days, not your strongest ones. Anyone can work hard when they feel inspired. Anyone can be consistent when life feels good. Anyone can follow their habits when everything is going smoothly. But it is on the days when your emotions drag their feet, when your mind feels foggy, when your heart feels heavy, when your motivation is nowhere to be found. Those are the days that define you. Every time you show up on a difficult day, you grow a piece of yourself that cannot be broken by excuses. Armin learned this the hard way. During his rebuilding journey, there were days when he felt invisible, days when he felt defeated, days when he questioned whether any of his small habits were making a difference. In the past, these were the days that destroyed him. He would stop, delay, avoid, and sink deeper into his old patterns. But one evening, he realized something. Every time he quit on a difficult day, he was teaching himself that struggle was stronger than his destiny. So he made a new rule. Even on my worst days, I will do at least 5 minutes of effort. 5 minutes. That was all he demanded from himself. And on days when he had no strength at all, he still kept that promise. Some days he read for 5 minutes. Some days he cleaned for 5 minutes. Some days he planned his tasks for the next morning. Some days he stretched. Some days he simply sat in silence and breathed. And it didn't look impressive. It didn't look life-changing. But it was. Because while the action was small, the identity shift was massive. Every time he showed up for those 5 minutes, he was reminding himself, I am not controlled by feelings. I am controlled by commitment. What started as 5 minutes often turned into 15. What began as tiny actions turned into powerful momentum. And over time, something remarkable happened. Those small, weekday efforts built the strongest discipline of his life. You must understand this. Your brain learns from your patterns. If you quit every time you feel low, your brain learns that difficulty equals surrender. If you show up even a little on difficult days, your brain learns that difficulty is not a stop sign. It is simply part of the journey. This habit, practiced repeatedly, builds a mindset that is unstoppable. Because once you detach your progress from your emotions, you become dangerous. You become consistent. You become disciplined. You become someone who moves forward, no matter what life throws at you. This habit separates those who dream from those who achieve. It separates potential from results. It separates who you were from who you are becoming. It is the bridge between intention and transformation. And the beautiful part, you don't have to be exceptional to show up. You just have to be willing. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. You don't have to feel powerful. You just have to take the next step. Because over time, showing up becomes easier. It becomes automatic. It becomes natural. And eventually, it becomes part of your identity. The habit of showing up when you don't feel like it trains your soul for greatness. It teaches you resilience, strengthens your character, and builds your inner architecture brick by brick. And one day, not today, not tomorrow, but someday, you will look back and realize that everything you became was built on the days you wanted to do nothing, but chose to do something. When you master this habit, your future is no longer left to chance. It becomes inevitable. The moment you reclaim your power, there comes a moment in every person's life when something inside them finally wakes up. A moment when you stop running from the truth, stop hiding behind excuses, stop shrinking yourself just to make life feel easier. This moment doesn't arrive with fireworks. It arrives with silence. A silence that asks you one simple question. Are you ready to take your power back? Step 3 is that moment. The moment you finally reclaim what has always belonged to you. Your strength, your voice, your identity, your direction, your future. Most people live their lives giving their power away piece by piece. They give it to fear. They give it to the past. They give it to circumstances. They give it to the opinions of others. But there comes a day when your soul gets tired of living small. It gets tired of watching you settle for less than your capability. It gets tired of seeing you walk around with potential locked inside you like a treasure chest no one has opened. Step 3 is the moment you reach for that lock and you decide to open it. Reclaiming your power doesn't mean pretending to be strong. It means refusing to stay weak. It means you stop letting situations control your emotions. You stop letting people manipulate your energy. You stop letting failure define your identity. You stop letting fear dictate your decisions. And you stop letting the old version of yourself run the life you are still building. Every time you choose courage over comfort, you reclaim a piece of your power. Every time you choose effort over excuses, you reclaim a piece of your power. Every time you choose progress over perfection, you reclaim a piece of your power. It is not a single event. It is a series of moments, tiny choices that slowly rebuild the strongest version of you. But reclaiming your power requires honesty, and honesty is not always comfortable. You must acknowledge the pain you've been carrying. You must admit the mistakes you've made. You must confront the habits that have been holding you back. You must face the truth that you have been giving yourself less than you deserve. A weak person runs away from this truth. A powerful person accepts it, learns from it, and transforms it. That transformation starts when you decide, with full conviction, that your future will not be shaped by your fears. It will be shaped by your choices. The world may have doubted you. People may have underestimated you. Life may have knocked you down. But stepping into your power means you no longer seek validation from the outside. You validate yourself. You know exactly who you are becoming, and nothing outside you has the authority to stop that. When you reclaim your power, opportunities begin to feel less like luck and more like alignment. Challenges begin to feel less threatening and more like training. Failures begin to feel less like endings and more like lessons. You stop reacting and you start responding. You stop crumbling and you start rising. You stop shrinking and you start expanding. True power is not loud. It does not yell. It does not need to announce itself. True power is calm. It is steady. It is confident. It is a quiet force inside you that says, I have been through too much to break now. When you reclaim your power, you become someone who doesn't panic in storms. You guide yourself through them. You become someone who doesn't fear uncertainty. You adapt to it. You become someone who doesn't cling to the past. You use it as a foundation to build your future. Step 3 is the turning point. It is the moment your story changes direction. It is the moment you refuse to be defined by what has happened to you and choose, instead, to be defined by what you decide to do next. You stop waiting for someone to save you. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop waiting for permission. You choose yourself. You rise for yourself. You fight for yourself. You reclaim your power because without it, nothing changes. But with it, everything does. The courage to break what's breaking you. There comes a point in your journey where growth demands something uncomfortable. Letting go of the things that are secretly destroying you. Step 4 is not about adding more to your life. It's about removing what has been quietly holding you hostage. It might be a mindset. It might be a habit. It might be a person. It might even be a version of yourself that you've outgrown, but kept alive, because it feels familiar. But real transformation requires courage, and one of the greatest acts of courage is breaking what's breaking you. Most people cling to the very things that cause them pain. They hold on to toxic comfort because the unknown feels scarier than the suffering they already understand. But you cannot rise while dragging chains. You cannot grow while protecting your own limitations. You cannot become who you are meant to be while holding on to what keeps you small. Step 4 is brutal honesty, the kind of honesty that forces you to ask, what in my life is stopping me from becoming the strongest version of myself? This is the moment you stop avoiding the truth and start reshaping your reality. Breaking what's breaking you requires facing your patterns, not the surface level patterns you blame on stress or bad timing, but the real patterns, the habits that drain your energy, the thoughts that sabotage your progress, the fears that freeze your potential. The excuses that keep you trapped in cycles you swear you want to escape. This step forces you to confront the parts of your life you keep brushing aside because they're too heavy, too emotional, or too deeply rooted. But avoiding them has only kept you imprisoned. Confronting them is what sets you free. Sometimes the hardest thing to break is the belief that you're not enough. That belief has shaped your decisions, your confidence, your identity. It has made you settle for less, accept mistreatment, shrink your dreams, and silence your voice. Step 4 pushes you to destroy that belief once and for all. Because when you break the lie that you are weak, you uncover the truth that you are powerful. When you break the idea that you are unworthy, you finally see that you deserve more. When you break the mindset that you must suffer to succeed, you open space for growth, peace, and clarity. And yes, sometimes what is breaking you is a relationship, a person who drains your spirit, someone who takes more than they give, someone who only stays because you keep making space for them. Letting go does not mean you hate them. It means you love yourself enough to choose peace over chaos. It means you stop giving people access to your energy when they contribute nothing to your growth. It means you understand that not everyone deserves a seat at the table of your future. Step 4 gives you the courage to walk away, even when it hurts, because staying would hurt far more. But the most painful thing to break is the version of yourself that you created for survival, the one who learned to stay quiet, the one who accepted less, the one who feared conflict, the one who hid their dreams. That version of you is not wrong. It was necessary. It protected you, but it cannot lead you where you're going next. Step 4 asks you to thank that version, honor it, and then outgrow it. You do not need to apologize for wanting more. You do not need to feel guilty for demanding better. You do not need to stay small to make others comfortable. Breaking the old version of you is not betrayal. It is evolution. Breaking what's breaking you is not a one-day act. It is a continuous process of choosing yourself again and again. It is waking up every day and deciding that your peace matters, your dreams matter, your growth matters, and your future matters more than your fear. You will cry, you will doubt, you will feel uncomfortable, but you will also feel lighter. You will feel clearer, you will feel stronger, because every time you remove what harms you, you make space for what heals you. Step 4 is the moment you draw a line and say, this ends here. No more cycles. No more self-sabotage. No more allowing what hurts you to stay in the driver's seat of your life. You break what's breaking you because you deserve a life that doesn't drain you, but builds you. A life that doesn't limit you, but elevates you. A life that doesn't imprison you, but frees you.